Each team has 2 service aces so far and a couple of service errors. But the difference so far, hitting efficiency. Northwestern hitting 429 and USC just hitting 176 through the first half of this first set. We've got a long way to go tonight in these best-of-5 games, but the Wildcats leading 15-12 as the time on the clock runs down. But USC, we expect them to bounce back here. Some of their strongest hitters coming to the front row. Leah Ford, their middle blockers, so huge.
Absolutely, Perry. Another thing I have to point out, Boussaint Hazan is very early on, but she's a perfect 2 for 2. And so we'll see if the transfer from South Florida can keep it up here for the Cats. And Sophia Summers, who returned to volleyball this week after 4 games out with an injury, sets up to serve.
Floated to the back row, quick set to the middle, forward blocked by Hale, back to USC. To Aninga to the outside, blocked again by Northwestern, shanked out of bounds. And that's 2 blocks in a row. Kennedy Hill in on both of them, point for the Wildcats.
Tuaninga doing a good job trying to keep the ball in play there, but once again, some disorganization from the Trojans is forcing them to suffer a bit here.
Summers serving for the 3rd time in a row. She had 5 serves in a row, her first time at the line. This one into the back row. Dug up to Aninga, gets there, back set to the right side, Famuina. Summers and Reed collide on the dig attempt, and it's a point for the Trojans. Score 16-13 in set number 1.
Perfect set to Famuina there from Tuaninga. This team, when they are organized, can just be so deadly.
Gray Gosnell at the service line for her 2nd time around. Floats it short, dug by Randorf. Rousseau bumps it to the outside. Hazan back on the attack line. And the USC block too big to move past. Ford and Batenhorst put the roof on. 16-14 Wildcats.
And that's just one part of what Batenhorst and her 6'5" stature bring to this Trojans team. Huge double block for the Trojans and a nice momentum shift for them here.
Gosnell this time to Reed in the back row. Rousseau quick to Hill. Down at the attack line. Another kill for Kennedy Hill.
Kennedy Hill for the kill. A statement that's all too familiar for me because I used to call her volleyball games in high school.
No way.
She was a Harvard-Westlake Wolverine before we were both Northwestern Wildcats, and one of the most efficient players on this team. Crazy high kill percentage. Just incredible for the Wildcats.
Lauren Carter, float serve, goes long. USC lets it go. Another error for the Wildcats. It's 17-15 Wildcats, still with the slim lead. Leah Ford back to serve.
And service errors, Perry, have the potential to be huge in this game. Definitely a weakness for both of these teams.
Ford serves it long. Going back and forth, they seem to feed off of each other with these service errors. It's 18-15 Wildcats.
Yes, exactly. Once again, a service error for USC. If you look at, the stats broadcast play-by-play here, there's a service error after service error for both of these teams. Let's see if Boussaint Hazan can get things on the right track for the Cats.
Short serve, dug by Douglas, set to the outside, Batenhorst. Cross court, hits the ground. Not even close to Drew Wright, point USC. Still a 2-point game, Cats in the lead 18-16 with Tuaninga back to serve.
And Batenhorst, the transfer from Nebraska, amazing volleyball IQ, the team's leading scorer, once again making such an impact early on.
On the floor right now for Northwestern, Reed, Wright, and Navarrete in the back row to receive, with Carter, Hill, and Rousseau in the front row. Tuaninga, Gosnell, and Trubit in the back row for USC. Tuaninga with the jump serve. Beautiful dig by Navarrete. Carter bump sets it over the outside. Reed roll shot, tools it off the block. Another point for Northwestern. She's got a big smile on her face after that. It's 19-16 Wildcats.
The Cats do a great job there of handling a perfect serve from Tuaninga. Navarrete is right there as she needs to be, and just perfection from this team.
Drew Wright loves to serve from behind zone 5. Floats it short. Dug by Trubit, back set, Batenhorst hits it into the block, but it falls down on Northwestern's side. So point USC, and now Batenhorst heading back to serve for the Trojans. 19-17, Cats in the lead.
Yeah, tough for the Cats there as that ball falls down just to the center line, but Batenhorst once again showing off just why she's so important to this Trojan system.
Long ball by Reed, overpassed, but Northwestern gets the dig. It's back on their side. Rousseau hits it out of system, cross court and out of bounds, point USC. Back to a 1-point game, 19-18 in set number 1. The Cats have led from almost the beginning of this set. Batenhorst, her second serve in a row to zone 5 read again. Carter back to Russo, tips it, covered by USC. Bump set by Trubin, close to the net, tooled off the block though by Famuina, and it's another point for USC, tied up at 19. Batenhorst serving again. Matt McClure has been steadily getting better throughout the season. He was someone that coming into the season, I think Northwestern thought was going to be their #1 guy, but struggled at the beginning, and so did Nolan Moore, so did a lot of this Northwestern bullpen, but there's definitely been some bounce back, and McClure has been throwing some of his best stuff as of late. With him, you'll see that fastball up there around 90, but then also that very high arcing curveball up in the high 60s and low 70s.
Yeah, and for Northwestern, I mean, they lost a lot of big arms in their rotation. Sam Garawal, Michael Farinelli had 12 transfers between field players and pitchers. It's one of those things that Ben Greenspan had to shore up with transfers. He's done a really good job, and Matt McClure has really shined.
Council swings away at the first pitch and bumps it foul for strike 1. Brady Council, first guy coming to the plate today for Minnesota. The junior here in Chicago now has a new home, as he's the son of Craig Council, Chicago Cubs manager, who probably would be here if he wasn't coaching a game of his own right now. Slight movement with McElpatrick behind the bag at second.
See back-to-back fastballs from Matt McClure. Someone where the strikeout numbers aren't super high, but the walk numbers have been super low, just over 2.25 walks per 9 innings. One of the Wildcats' best in terms of keeping those free passes to a minimum.
Draws the swing and miss there to get ahead in the count 1-2 from Council. Matt McClure, you said, is not a high strikeout guy, but actually in his outing 2 outings ago in Eastern Illinois, put up a season-high 6 strikeouts, was all over it with the K's in that one. The 1-2. Chopped back to McClure, a couple of bounces. Easy toss, easy out, 1 gone.
On the radar gun for that one, tipping at 93 miles an hour. One of the fastest fastballs we'll see from Matt McClure. Goes for 4 heaters against Brady Council, someone who's gotten on base his last 21 games. Induces the soft contact from the second baseman, and then just the easy toss over to Trent Liolas at first for the first out.
Brings up Jake Perry, the Big Ten leader in doubles. He had another one yesterday. And lines it to Livermore. First pitch. Tony Livermore, very strong defensively. Actually, Minnesota's hitting coach, when we got a chance to speak to him, called out Livermore's defense, said he is excellent in the field and someone that Minnesota is going to have to try to avoid. Jake Perry could not do it there, and there's 2 gone quickly for McClure.
Well, you can't set your defense up any better than that. Tony Livermore doesn't even have to move. Shifted over a bit towards second base. Just a line drive from Perry right into his glove.
The fastball misses low for ball 1 to Weber Niels, the guy we've talked a lot about already. Go-ahead home run in the 9th yesterday for Minnesota, and then the errors that ended up costing them the game, potentially the postseason.
Well, and he's been so hot. A pair of doubles against Michigan State last weekend, career-high 3 hits in that game. He's gotten a hit in 15 of his last 17. See, that .322 average speaks for itself.
2-0 bounced over the heads of the Northwestern dugout. For strike 1, Weber Niels is a Minnesota native. And if there's one thing to say about this Minnesota team, it's that most of them are from Minnesota. And in large part, that is thanks to head coach John Anderson, who is in his 43rd and final season at the moment. But this one hammered towards left field. Under it, Preston Knott, warning track, wall, and it's in his glove. Looks like it might get out of there for a second, but McClure gets the sweep 1-2-3 to start things off strong. Heading to the bottom of the first now. Preston Knott will lead off when we're back. Northwestern moving slowly to set up the offense. Leach goes to his left, gives it off to Barry, back to the top of the key with Nicholson. Back to the left with Jalen Leach, guarded closely by Leal. Martinelli just inside the 3-point line, driving right, has some space, hooks it around Ballo and lays it in.
Well, that's a great way to end that stretch. Just let Martinelli work and get downhill. An easy finish for him for those 2 points.
Northwestern ends the field goal drought, 31-27 now, 19 minutes to go. Miles Rice with the ball, point guard for Indiana, gives to Mackenzie Mbako on the right side, driving towards the left, spins back right, rolls around off the iron, rebound goes to Barnheiser. Leach heading the other direction on the right side, dribbling towards his left, steps back, thinks about it, swings it to Barnheiser, 4-3, front of the rim, goes the other way. Mbako with the board now, Rice going coast to coast. Perri meets him at the rim, no foul, but Rice finishes on his head with a right-handed layup. Indiana gets that one back. It's 33-27. Perri for three, left wing, front of the rim. Barnheiser chasing down the rebound, and he gets to it in between two red jerseys, taking it by himself on the right, steps back, no travel called. Indiana wanted it, and he puts up a floater, rattles it in, and Northwestern gets the second chance points.
Definitely could have seen a potential call there, but Barnheiser now 0 for 3 in this game from three. He's 3 for 22. He has to get going from his last threes. He has to get going from beyond the arc.
Anthony Leal picks up his dribble, looking for options on the left wing, goes inside short corner now with Ballo. Nicholson on him, 10 on the shot clock. Ballo finds open Mbako, opposite side, and Mbako for three. He gets it, his first three in the last 5 games. Previously was 0 for his last 16, but finding his stride. Indiana leading 36-29, 17:45 to go. Now Ty Perri has it for Northwestern. Back to Nicholson, top of the key. Barnheiser, right wing. Martinelli, right block, now dribbling, trying to get to his left hand. He does, and it falls on top of Luke Goody. Indiana again moving fast. They are really pushing the pace today. And now slowing down a little. Ballo gives it off to Mbako. Give and go back to Ballo. Almost had his third and one of the day, but it just bounced out. So Umar Ballo heading back to the free throw line for his 5th and 6th tries today.
Well, Mbako and Ballo are absolutely cooking to start this second half. Earlier, Ballo had a great job to get out of the double team and find Mbako for 3, and that time that perfectly executed give and go to get Ballo moving downhill in order to draw the foul. But Northwestern as well offensively, they're working with Martinelli. When in doubt, just let Martinelli go to work. He's up to 11 points in the game today, and him working in the paint, that left-handed floater really works.
And we saw him get to his right, too. That first layup he made was a pure right-handed layup. That's rare for the lefty who admits that he's still working on his righty game. Ballo bricks the first off the front of the rim. Taking a moment before try number 2. Martinelli and Nicholson on the low blocks. Barnheiser and Perri in the other slots for Northwestern. Leach outside the key. Mbako and Goody with Ballo in the key. Second shot is up and good.
You take that if you're Northwestern. You had Ballo driving downhill. If he's going 1 for 2 from the line after that, you absolutely take that.
We have not seen either team try to press beyond half court. Martinelli on the left wing, guarded by Goody. Looks for his options, still has his dribble, hands it off to Barnheiser, top of the key, but moving right. Driving now, downhill, right side, puts a shoulder into Goody, finds an open Perri, corner, 3, splash!